Hey guys, we are going to talk about bar chords today. In the last video that I posted, we talked about open chords and how if you're just doing your scales, kind of playing some easy songs like that, getting into chords, the next step is trying to break it down, because if you're moving, all of your fingers at the same time, that can get really daunting and you just kind of like hit this wall. So you want to do a step-by-step approach to break it down. So we're going to do the same thing with bar chords today, and this is what I do with all my students. Getting into them, what I've noticed is if I just take this A bar chord, what everybody's immediate inclination is doing, this goes back to the past video that I talk about, like that kind of baseball bat grip, and you have to get a little bit looser with it. Same idea, everyone really focuses on this back finger. Now, just putting your finger down and playing all the strings takes an incredible amount of strength, and then if you're just getting into bar chords, you haven't really used those muscles yet, so you'll end up just getting this. So it seems like everybody is pushing, like trying to get past that, and I have a different approach that works for all of my students. Is if we take this A bar chord, all right, what I have them do is just focus on these three fingers, okay? Making sure that they're up and around, they're not in the way of the strings below, they're not kind of scrouched down like that, and they're a nice clear sound. Now from there, I just have my students put their finger down really lightly, so you'll get this sound. And not even worry about pressing down right away. Just making sure that even that hand position is comfortable, because if you're here, you're kind of at the top of the frets, everything's nice and clear. When your finger might want to be kind of positioned a little too close to your second finger. So trying to get that back, even so you can see where that fret is, might be a little bit difficult, because there is a little bit of a spread there. So just trying that. Now, the next step is when we start adding the pressure for our first finger, I start having them do it down here. So I don't even have them touching the top string, or if they do it just really lightly. All right, so they're just adding all the pressure from down here, all right, just on those bottom two strings, and see if you can get that to come through. Right? Once that comes through, you'll figure out how to lay your first finger down, because usually it'll have this little curve, right? Because you don't need to be adding pressure on these strings. So if I pick this up, it actually sounds like this. There's a few of those click notes in the middle on these strings, because you don't have to add the pressure there. Because if you are going to add all that pressure, it's going to take a huge amount of muscle right here. So just try that. Do it with the majors, the minors. It works on the minor bar chords with an A string bass note. Now, the other very, very different formation is the major bar chord. So if we take a D major, major bar chord with the root note on the A string. All right, so now this one is a little bit more, it takes a little bit more strength, it takes a little bit more agility. So you want to make sure that your fingers kind of bent inward like that. So if you go like that, if it's not, if it's curved over, you won't be able to cover all the strings. Now some people do it this way. Whoop. I don't, just because that's a whole lot of motion getting from one chord to the next. So I just do it that way. And same idea. Now if you look back here, my thumb is a little bit closer to my first finger, all right? So what I have my students do is focus more on this third finger and moving their thumb a little bit closer to the third finger to get that right amount of pressure. So make sure it's up in the fret and see if you can get those three to come through. And then eventually drop your first finger. And I have them do it more like that than a full bar, mainly because it's really, really difficult, especially at first, to get this bottom string to come through, to get it to not be touched by your third finger. So I don't really have them focus on that, more right here, and then moving their thumb back where it's comfortable. So step-by-step approaches. If you can't quite get this yet, just try to get one or two of them. Figure out what's happening if your finger's starting to bend up again, and then that's creating that X sound right here. Just really, really take your time with getting those three notes before you add the bass note. All right, that's gonna make it a little bit easier than looking at those chord forms and trying to jump in all at once. So guys, let me know if you have any questions. Thank you for watching, and I will